but how connected is your farm, and do most dairy processors have technical capabilities to share data and manage tracing?
Okay, so with regards to traceability, I will give you an example. There was a retail sample of milk that was pulled off the shelf of Maine back in it was early February, so the milk was produced like within 48 hours before that, most likely. And they did a sample, they did a test, they traced back that gallon of milk on a store shelf somewhere in Maine back to the farms that produced that milk. And we have what we call commingled loads. So they were able to do that through the fact that here's the date, here's the stamp on the gallon jug or the carton of milk, and anything processed for dairy, whether it's an almond beverage or a soy beverage, that if it is produced and packaged in a dairy plant, you'll see the plant code on it. That timestamp, that date, and on the local HP Hood machine, they have the name of the machine on it. So they can go back to that machine, and within their own systems, they were able to say, okay, on this date for this jug, we know it came out of this silo. They have multiple silos that hold milk, and they knew exactly which farms had contributed to that supply of milk. So that traceability is there. How automated it is, I do not know. Because when they pick up the milk here in the United States, or at least at our farm and through most of Maine, they record everything manually. But when it comes to technology, records of the temperature that's in our tanks, the wash cycles that occur to sanitize it, that's all computer driven and computer recorded. So we do have that sort of level of connectivity. We use software to run our parlor and extrapolate the data that it obtains from our cows, whether it's how much they're walking around, they wear Fitbits, how much they're chewing. We're actually able to merge the data from the parlor regarding milk production, quality of milk, and see the trends. And we don't go and get the data and figure it out ourselves. There are reports that are written for us, and we get views of that data. That's the important thing. There's 2 farms that I know of that participated in trials regarding facial recognition on farm of cows, and people might think, why would you do that? And the reason is because it takes 8 seconds for us to recognize a face. These computers could do it and actually establish and detect patterns and behavior that would take humans a long time to do. Just things of how they come up to the bunk and how they actually do things, and what influences that, and how do we figure that out. So there are lots of connection points on farms already. There's going to be a lot more as we move forward. Whether or not everyone goes with it, I'm not sure, because we have smart barns, we have technology to turn on our fans when it's too hot, or roll up the curtains when it's raining in. We have in other parts of agriculture, not just livestock agriculture, we have, I know a guy that actually that's his business is smart barns, for whether it's grain storage or potato storage, making sure you're monitoring and taking care of humidity and temperature. But then again, the average age of the dairy farmer in the United States is somewhere around 58, I think, and predominantly white and male. No offense to anyone who fits that demographic, but they're not always the easiest to accept change and move forward with it. So that's an issue.